when we're talking about making a switch, when we're talking about moving classes around, is you will be asked whether this helps or hurts you. And there will be a time to say, raise your hand if this helps you. And everybody who it helps will raise their hands. And how do you raise your hand? Elbow to ear. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this.
Where?
And I definitely don't want to see it like all the way down here where it's like not even visible to anybody in the room. And you might have to keep your hand up for a while. You can switch arms. That's totally allowed. You've got 2 arms. You're only using one at a time, right? So that makes it really easy and available to see for everybody up here. When we try to make a switch and we ask if it helps or hurts you, if it stays the same, you do not need to raise your hand. I know that this can be really confusing, but for example, if you start off with a gray-on-gray conflict and the class that's moving only causes another gray-on-gray conflict, then it is the same, and you do not need to raise your hand. If it gets better for you, you can raise your hand at help. If it does not get better for you, if it hurts you, you can raise your hand at hurt. When you are raising your hand, it is time to raise your hand. It is not time to talk about why unless you are asked. There will be a time when you are asked, how does this help you? How does this hurt you? Because we want to know if it's a black on black, if it's a black and gray. Those things matter because the reason that we sticker things is for priority, right? There are classes that you really, really, really want to take, and then there are classes that you don't care as much about, and that's okay. But that is not the time to explain it right off the bat. It's also not the time when a switch happens to go, oh, that sucked for me, or to go, yes, because the person right next to you could be feeling the exact opposite, and it is slightly annoying when that happens, right? Because you might be, wow, like, that really sucked for me, and the person next to you is cheering, and that's a confusing feeling. So keep the reactions at a minimum, please. And this is not the time to share, like, oh, this actually really sucks for me when everyone is just raising their hands, because if we all do that, the information is, like, all coming up here, and it's really complicated, and all we need at first is the hand raising. Does that make sense? Just the hand raising for the beginning. You will be asked for clarification. And when you are asked for clarification, it's easy to provide, it's like really easy to provide a bunch of information and say like, well, you know, I really want to take this class, da 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 da. And that information is for your advisor. That information is not for right now. Right now, you want to just give, well, okay, so this is a black on black for me. And then all of the other little details will probably surface with your advisor. But for now, because there are 34 students, we're keeping it at a conflict level. That's why we do the stickering process. Yeah, Nat.
What if like there's like a conflict that changes from a gray on gray to like a gray on white? Would that like
yeah,
be
so that's
good or
better
bad?
because it's less white is a less priority than gray, so that would be considered better.
Okay.
So if it was a black on black and it went down to a black on gray, that would be better. It's not a whole lot better, but it is better. Yeah. So are there any more questions about providing information and sticker conflicts, anything like that? Okay, the last thing is you can request a break. If you reach a point where you're like, man, I'm really tired, I'm not understanding what's coming at me, it's not making sense, you can totally say, hey, I want a break, because chances are many other people in the room are feeling the exact same way. I would recommend doing a break, go outside, get a snack, take your mask off, get water, go to the bathroom. It is not a great time to hop up and run and get a snack in the middle of this, because if you need to raise your hand and you're not here, no one's going to raise it for you. And that would really suck. So if you need a break, absolutely communicate that. Like, everyone in here needs breaks. We all want to do that. So that is up there. So yeah, use great communication, elbow to ear. Don't express all of your feelings when you only need to raise your hand, because the person next to you could be feeling the opposite way and it might be really awkward. Request breaks. Keep only necessary tabs open. Yes, Glenda.
Should you check in with your buddy instead of
Yes.
just letting things happen to you that you have no say in if you feel nervous about talking out loud or raising your hand?
Absolutely. If you are confused, the teaching staff is in here, your advisor is almost in here, for Elizabeth advises. And so, like, call your buddy over. If you're confused, like, motion them to come over. Keep Slack open. People can communicate through Slack, not unnecessarily. Don't be chatting with your friends about like what you want to get for lunch or something. But if you need help, like, communicate that. It's absolutely okay to ask for help. And if you don't want to say it aloud, like, there are people in this room that you can like walk over to the side of the room and talk to if you need. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We're gonna start off with some switches from what we worked on in Broadway. We did already make one switch, which I don't 100% remember what it was because it didn't affect me at all. Yeah.
It was cinema and the intersectionality, international economics, Thursday and Friday.
Is it reflected on this?
No.
Yes. I already
Oh,
swapped it.
you did?
Yes.